All right, homies. This morning we're going to be checking out the preliminary patch notes for 0.12 patch. They're officially live on the Escape From Tarkov forums. They're also on the subreddit. I will put the link below in the description for you guys to click on and read through as well if you'd like that. It'll be down there. First and foremost, added. The project is transferred to the Unity engine version 2018.4. So this is a Unity engine upgrade that we've all been looking forward to. And hopefully this is supposed to give us, a certain amount of fixes and performance upgrades, hopefully reduce stuttering, and provide a better framework for a netcode that's a bit more reliable. They've redesigned and optimized and added new third-person animations. So that's exciting, very exciting. New game feature, the hideout. Definitely something that everybody has been looking forward to. This is the big feature that includes building and upgrading of various zones in the hideout, each with its own bonuses. Ability to produce different items. You're able to improve the basic stats of your character, off raid treatment rate, acceleration of skills, leveling, etc. Ability to increase the size of your stash if you do not have EOD version of the game with the maximum stash size. Super exciting. So it doesn't seem like EOD people are going to make theirs any bigger. It looks like that is going to be the max. So interesting. So if you have standard, that's fantastic news for you. It looks like you'll be able to bolster how much equipment you can hang on to in your inventory, which is hype, super hype. So enjoy that, standard plebs. New functionality, off-raid treatment. Now the character retains health status after raid. Health, energy, and hydration now regenerate when out of raid. I wonder if you have to be in-game or out-of-game, or if that happens just like over time, like IRL time, not in-game time. That'll be interesting to see. You can use food, water, and first aid kits to instantly restore your character's condition when out of raid. Okay, and then after your death, the character's health is restored to 30%, and then it begins to regenerate at a rate determined by various improvements in the hideout. So I like this. I think this is going to have a really positive effect on the population of hatchlings, and people who are just going into raid just to grab a couple of items and try and dip out real quick, because they will have to invest in healing every single character to get back in. With full health. So that's super interesting. This is something that we've talked about and looked forward to for some time. So hopefully this won't slow down the pacing too much of being able to go like from raid to raid to raid, especially for, obviously I'm going to think about a lot of these things with regards to broadcasters. So excuse me for that. That's obviously my framework for looking at some of these changes. And, the Tarkov is just one of those games where a lot of people prefer to watch a lot of the time than play. And so I think it is important for people to just be able to jump in and out of raid and be able to handle this without it taking forever. So I'll be curious to see what the specifics are like of this kind of functionality, right? Weapon presets. Now, this is something that, again, for the sake of casting, is huge. I think a lot of people do like you'll see broadcasters do like viewer kits and whatnot, and I think the main reason that we do this is not only for the variation to switch it up to enjoy different kinds of weapons that are in the game, but also just because it's quick, right? You just be able to grab a weapon without having to build it yourself. There's so much downtime in game when you're building out every single weapon. So the idea is that you're going to be able to have like preset weapons that you have tailored to whatever you want for your build. You click one button and I guess you'll be able to grab all the parts needed, right? So this says ability to create weapon presets from any parts that are known to your character. Ability to quickly find and purchase missing parts for the assembly of custom presets. So in addition, obviously, to the one-click weapon buys, which is huge. Saves tons of downtime. And honestly, like even outside of the idea of broadcasting, let's think about this in a more, wide sense. Everybody has a certain amount of time to play this game, right? You have only so much free time in your day. Wouldn't you rather be in raid slaying, you know what I'm finding, or you know what I'm saying, like finding good loot, enjoying the game rather than just like tediously building over and over and over kits. So this is huge for everybody. I just, you know, it'll be a good change for everyone. New military base, new maps are my number one like favorite new content possible. I think that not only do you get the new map, which is exciting to explore for both loot and PvP wise, but the idea is that with every single new map in the rotation, it kind of makes all the other maps a little bit more fresh, right? Because you're not running them as often. So when you do play them, it's kind of refreshing. So the more you throw into the rotation, the better. And it just makes the game way less repetitive, right? The largest map in terms of indoor area and exploration potential. That's super exciting. That's really cool. New exfil mechanics. Those are always fun. Stationary 12.7 millimeter heavy machine gun. Okay. That's along with the stationary 30 millimeter automatic grenade launcher. So those will be fun to use. How exactly RPMCs will maneuver those will be, you know, still to be seen, but exciting. New constraints on the location, snipers and minefields. Interesting. Unique loot. So there's going to be loot that's specific to the military base. That's cool. And of course, there's going to be a scav boss named Glukar, and he's going to have his own special tactics. All of these scav bosses are kind of coded differently so that they, you know, attack and defend areas in unique ways that is specific to their kit and whether or not they have, you know, like a group of bodyguards or anything like that. So, trader service tactical clothing. So right now in game, or at least up until this point, we've only had one set of clothing for USEC, one set of clothing for Bear. I've always said that USEC is like a better option right now, specifically because of the clothing that exists. All green, way harder to see when they're inside of foliage than a Bear. A Bear has the 3/4 sleeve, like black tactical shirt and very pasty white arm. And that contrast is very easy to see at distance and within bushes and stuff. So I feel like Bears have always been at a disadvantage for that. So the fact that each of these factions are getting 5 unique sets of lower and upper clothing is huge. Really exciting for Bear players or people who otherwise hadn't played Bear. Now then maybe they'll give it a shot. Should be really, really, really dope. So that's cool. That's exciting. They'll be available under different conditions: the level of the character, loyalty level of Ragman, and money price. Okay, cool. So there's going to be a new trader, Jaeger. He will be locked at the start of the game, and you'll have to complete a quest to unlock him. Kind of like we see with, you know, you have to get so far into Skier to meet Peacekeeper, right? So, his range of products will have a large number of unique items. He'll also have minimum margin on the goods price. He will also have a minimum margin on the goods price. I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to mean. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out. So here's some information on the new scav boss Glukar. His area of action is located on the military base. He believes the territory is his property, and he'll protect it by taking defensive positions in one of many fortified locations. He has a 6-man team. Each member has his own role. Guards are always close to the boss. Stormtroopers can move forward to attack the enemy at another point. The head watch are the first to notice the enemy and impose a fight on them. So there's going to be a multiple person team. Interesting. And they all behave differently. So really interesting. Guards are always close to the boss. Okay. Stormtroopers can move forward to attack the enemy at another point. So they're going to be more offensive and push you. And the head watch are the first to notice. So they're like the spotters. Interesting. That's really cool. That's really, really, really neat. So you're going to have to kind of identify each of these members of the team, how they're going to behave, and then take them on, appropriately. Interesting. That's really cool. The boss and his team strive not to leave protected positions. They will attack from windows and other fortified places, so you can't bait them out. They use advanced tactics of fighting indoors and have a special model of behavior on more open terrain. Interesting. Okay. Okay. They use stationary weapons. They may attack or retreat to protect the boss and hold their ground. As the train approaches, the boss and his team will try to occupy the landing platform. Wait, as the train approaches. Okay. This is like, I feel like they're staging this in a way that's like, I feel like I'm going into a room on like GoldenEye. You know what I mean? With like, there's a story happening, and you know, the first person there is like playing through this story. You know what I mean? Interesting. That's cool as hell. I'm excited. They use all available weapons. Often wear heavy body armor and helmets. So I kind of like the fact that it's kind of randomized, right? They use all available weapons. That's neat. Interesting. Okay. I mean, it'll be crazy to see how that plays out, but I'm picturing like you know what I'm saying? Like you go into a room and there's like this action sequence that's occurring and you have to do certain things, and like kill off the enemies. I don't know, man. It's wild. It's like you're entering like this little single player mission. Well, I mean, you can do it with a group, obviously, but you know, like a storyline based mission. That's cool. That's really neat. We'll see how it goes. The new Bosch Sherman. Okay, so this is going to be on woods. Sherman's going to be in the area of the sawmill on woods. He has a common funded stash with the valuables. He usually keeps the key to himself. Interesting mechanic. Okay, so you're going to have to kill him, get the key, and then open the stash, it seems. He prefers covert tactics, tries to attack from a distance, from cover. Outplays the opponent by taking a better environment. Lets players get closer into the distance of effective fire. He has a team of 2 guards, so this is a 3-man dealio versus the 6-man with Glukar. The boss and his guards use long-range weapons. Okay, as you would expect on woods, right? Definitely more of an open map. But this will be really nice. I think going into woods, early game, early white will be really important. If you can figure out a way to kill off Sherman, being able to acquire some nice long-range weapons right off the bat when a lot of optics aren't really available to you is hugely valuable. And as soon as you get one, you can potentially try and like bankroll and turn that into more through just running woods over and over again. So that's really neat. I'm excited for that. Woods is my favorite map. So just putting a scav boss on the map is going to make it more popular. And I just love woods PvP. I think it's by far the most fun, most tactical. So that's cool. That's exciting. They added over 160 weapon parts and modules, an assortment of new 12 and 20 caliber shotgun cartridges. I think they're trying to make shotties a little bit more viable, which is exciting. Assortment of new cartridges 4.6 by 30 and 5.7 by 28. New equipment, new mechanics of treatment of blackened body parts with surgical kits. So you are going to be able to spend extra time in raid and repair a blackened body part. That's going to require a surgical kit. I do think it's going to take a good chunk of time to be able to get it back from being blacked out. So that's neat. That means that a blacked out body part doesn't instantly ruin your raid, make you have to like gimp out as soon as you experience that. So that'll be good. Personally, I'm glad that they were talking about doing this and needing to like, they basically discussed the idea of having to do this to another person, right? One person uses a surgical kit on another person. And I think that's just not exactly fair to solo players. We keep in mind the idea that this is a computer game, a video game, and you can't do, solo or single players like that. So thermal imaging device T7 has been added, new barter items, new consumable items, alcohol. Interesting. I wonder if that's going to have an effect on your character. That would be that'd be interesting. I wonder if it affects their vision. Maybe a pain treatment. Could very well be a pain treatment. Interesting. We'll see. That could be neat. New fracture sound effects. I like that. I think that audio cues for when certain things happen are super important. And sometimes you're not always 100% sure when you're in the middle of a firefight, whether it was blacked, whether it was fractured, etc. So being able to know that mid-firefight is actually really big. I think that's a really great change. Really great change. New weapons, we're getting a Nash 12, we're getting a FNP 90, an M9A3, the FN57, which I'm particularly excited about, the TX15, and an MP5 Kurz. Okay. So we're getting new quests for old traders, and we're getting some reworked old ones as well. Cool. I always like that. I think doing the same quests over and over becomes a little bit monotonous from wipe to wipe. Newer players obviously don't experience the same issue. But there are definitely, so one thing that they talked about, and they don't list it here, is that they're going to be dropping the soft skill tasks. At least that's what they've said in the past. They are going to be dropping the soft skill tasks from these traders. So that's exciting. Super hype. I think that is just, the soft skills are just not in a well-balanced spot right now. And just for, at least for the time being, need to be removed. So I'm hyped for that. New graphics, additions, and fixes to animations. Okay. So we're getting a new temporal anti-aliasing, little AA action. And the idea is that things should be much more smoothed out, not so harsh and, you know, pixelated and sharp. So that's really exciting. This should improve performance to an extent, and it should also make, you know, your favorite broadcasters' broadcasts on Escape from Tarkov look much nicer. Because with the way that, you know, a broadcast basically deals with sharpness is very poorly, and to be able to smooth out those edges is going to make most casts look much nicer. And yeah, it should be good. Should be really good. We have new HBAO shading post effect. Okay, so some new shading. Terrain now casts shadows and has self-shadowing. Okay, texture streaming to reduce RAM consumption. Exciting. This game's always been incredibly RAM heavy from the start, so that'll be good. New grass with long distance rendering and grass shadows options. So grass rendering has been an issue in the game for as long as I can remember. Looking at a character out of like an optic, you could see them a lot of the time, but the minute that you scope in, the grass like basically shifts like a foot higher or a meter higher even sometimes, and it completely blocks your vision of them. And you unscope and you can see them, then you scope and you can't see them. And those rendering differences can definitely get you killed. They've gotten me killed plenty of times. So any kind of rework on that front is very, very welcome. New explosion effects, added variable animations of first aid kit treatment, added new auto sorting of goods by groups in merchant menus. That's exciting. Auto sorting's big. Added transfer all button, huge. Little quality of life changes like this. Just again, what they're reducing is the amount of time out of raid, right? All the tedious things that you do in your menu and your stash, whatever. If they can streamline that, that's very exciting. More time in raid slang. Added context menu for first aid kits, cure all when out of raid. Nice. Added the context menu for weapons, disassemble. Added presets button. Added autofill items checkbox when selecting merchants offers. Nice. Added stimulant properties to some of the food and beverages. I like this. I think that there's so many food and beverages in game that are mostly useless. So be able to see, you know, some of them have actual in-game use is dope. Really dope. I'll be excited to see what these are like. I assume that they will be similar to some of the stims. It'll work in a similar fashion, and hopefully they won't have like the negative effects, right? We'll see. Added display of health status before raid on the character selection screen. Added display of health status before raid. So this is because, right, the new system with having to heal out of raid. That way you can make sure that your character is, you know, 100% instead of like 30% that you would get if, say, you died in the previous raid, right? So this is just going to show you so that you know, hey, make sure you heal up. Added new sounds for different surfaces when crawling. Great. Cool. So we got some optimizations. Rendering and display of grass, great. Animation system, spawn of loot items on location, icon generation, ambient occlusion, volumetric light, use only physical CPU cores option. It is recommended for everyone to enable this option. Interesting, okay. Various optimizations of the load on CPU, added optimized contact SSAO effect algorithm, some optimizations of optical sites, optimization of locations, physics, in offline mode. That's interesting. Specifically offline mode. I find that offline mode has ran pretty terribly as of late, so that'll be interesting. Maybe they sorted something that was different there. Optimized ragdoll, physics of thrown loot and grenades, fixed a large number of causes of freezes. Oh baby, and stuttering related to rendering, physics, animations, inventory, combat logic, etc. This is probably a lot of people's biggest gripe about the game right now. This is how you'd say big pog. Hopefully, this is the case. Obviously, there's been cases in the past where they write something like this and it's good for a while and then it's not. Hopefully, this fix stays, right? That would be huge. That would be an absolute game changer. And I think that a lot of people expect that with the new Unity engine update, that should be the case, is that it should hold. So, bot improvements and fixes, improved AI behavior. When out of combat, bots rotate their heads to increase the field of view. Bots can greet each other, show gestures, and transmit information. Interesting. At the request of a player, scav AI, in case of negative reaction, will respond to him negatively or show a gesture. Nice. Bots can come close to loot containers. That's good. The more AI that they have near, like, loot containers, again, this is going to be a deterrent for any and all hatchet runners, etc. At the point of idle bots, look around, crouch. Okay. Improvement of the AI combat behavior. Improved grenade throwing algorithm. Improved algorithm for calculating the rotation to the target at different distances. AI fixes. Fixed the number of bugs when bots did not react to taking a shot from long distance or when using a silencer. That's great. I've noticed this a lot lately. Fix some bugs in shooting through fences, bushes, trees. Fix the bug of selecting an incorrect target when bot ignored the nearest threat. Fix a number of bugs with bots getting stuck. I've seen a lot of bugs with them getting stuck, like specifically like in and around doors. I think Factory is particularly bad with this right now. So that's good. That's a good fix. Fix the bug where the bot could not aim if you crouch close to him. Interesting. Fix the bug where bots shouted threatening voice lines, phrases to player scavs. Fix the number of bugs on interaction with doors. Okay. Bug in which it was possible to install the PSO and thermal sight, and PSO lens worked as a thermal sight. Now, this was hype. This was hype. Someone has built me this gun for viewer kits. But yeah, obviously not intended. And that's good. I'm glad that they removed it because it was obviously very strong. The bug with disappearing weapons when you move the object in the stash after folding stock. The items didn't appear from the stash if you click put the goods on the flea market during the sending of a previous Q command. Various error fixes. All good. All good. Any kind of like moving items causing errors was very frustrating. And having to go back and do everything again. Bad backend error fixes. Just eyeballing over this, kind of glossing. Let's see. Fix the bug that stacked up the effects of painkillers. I don't think I've seen that firsthand, but that's interesting. These are all very, very random, specific bug fixes. That's good, though. I mean, the idea that they've been able to squash this many things is pretty huge. Pretty huge. Fix the visual bug displaying glasses, lenses, visible through fog, smoke, etc. This is big. I purposely do not wear glasses in game because this stuff did still happen 100%. And it's nice that that's getting fixed, or at least they're working on it. Let's see here. Fix bugs with matchmaking. All good. Fix bugs with location and culling issues. Over 300 different fixes. Wow. That's awesome. You love to see it. You love to see it. Various network fixes and improvements related to the transition to Unity 2018.4. So, a lot of the time you'll see Battlestate has defaulted to the idea that with the previous Unity version, they weren't able to make a netcode that was, I guess, super reliable. And now that's apparently, plausible. So hopefully, we will see a lot less, netcode type issues. Hopefully going to be the case. My fingers are crossed. My fingers are definitely crossed. Here are some changes. Okay, so let's go through these, and this will be the end of it, my friends. Now all body armors cannot be worn with plate carriers. Now all body armor cannot be worn with plate carriers. Probably a good thing. So we will probably see a little less stacking of like the super heavy body armors with the plate carriers. So that's good. I think overall that's good. I think that you have to give the advantage to a good shooter more often than not. And I think just being able to stack the best body armor with the plate carriers basically allowed you to be way too tanky. And you're giving an advantage to somebody who has more in-game currency, which, as we all know, doesn't exactly line up with PvP prowess or anything like that. Just potentially more time spent in game. And obviously, I think we'd all like to see it just be more so skill-based. So you can no longer put certain containers, weapons, rigs, and backpacks in secured containers. Good. Now some keys have a number of uses. So we know that this is going to be the case for the marked room right off the bat. I think they showed that it's going to have 5 uses. This is not going to be for every key. But I think that they're going to just start with this as like a testing and see how it goes. And I think that I'm happy with this. I think this is good. I think this should definitely be the case. So I just think that most keys should probably be found in a more dynamic way rather than static locations, right? I would like to see these keys found in backpacks of scavs more often than anything else, because it forces you to actually participate in a raid rather than run to a single location, grab something, put it in your container. Well, assuming that container changes don't stay, or put it in your pocket and leave, right? So now some keys. Okay, so some keys have uses. In trader menu, when redeeming items, they are marked as out of stock. For location, customs and shoreline, they fix the position and trajectory of the sun. Okay. Now you can completely delete the conversations in chat. That's good. Deadly Slob always sending me the most inappropriate, lewd stuff. And then, I accidentally pull it up on stream. I get TOS'd. It's not good. So that's hype. Added the option to fold the stock when transferring items from scav to inventory. Rebalance 9x18 cartridges. Rebalance some of the stocks, magazines, and other weapon parts. Updated equipment pool that bots and player scavs can have. Cool. Okay. Interested to see what that is. Change cell configuration for BlackRock and AVS vests. AVS has armor. Now AVS has armor plates. Interesting. That's really interesting. I'm glad that they made some sort of distinction between the two, because honestly, they're the same, right, for the longest time. So I'm cool if they make one different than the other. Added drop down with filters, all offers, only from traders, only from players. Cool. When you receive an item by mail, some items are now combined into stacks. Great. Weapons on locations now spawn with small number of ammo and magazine. That's interesting. Very interesting. I like that. I think that that makes sense. But I do think we'll see people like not bringing guns more often as a result. Interesting. Modified occlusion system for the sound on locations. So I noticed that they didn't, unless I missed it here, I didn't see anything about Steam audio. I believe that's been delayed and will not be in the 0.12 right off the bat. So improve the recoil system and impact of skills on recoil. Hopefully it's been increased. I think the recoil system in Tarkov is much too simplistic. It's way too easy. And I would like to see most guns recoil increased. I think it would make a very positive impact on PvP in general. And I think that it would give more value to, different modifications. So that would be good. Reduce bonus to the speed of running from strength skill. Great. I think most people's strength skill who is leveled is done so in a way that is very intentional, right? And I don't think soft skills should work in that fashion. I wish that they would be more organically leveling. So I would like to see all of the bonuses that are given to people who have like crazy leveled soft skills be reduced. The sound of movement while prone is now more quiet. I think that's a good change. Reworked and changed loot tables of containers. Redesigned and added new loot locations or new loot points on locations. The variety of goods of all traders was reworked. Changed lighting and item inspector window. Improved font readability and interfaces. Overall quality changes were made to the spawn system. That's big. I'm glad that they at least are still thinking about that, mentioning that, considering the fact that there are different spawns, especially on interchange right now, where you can spawn in and just be instantly shot at by another spawn. I think that's brutal. Shouldn't be the case. Definitely needs a rework and consideration for balancing. Removed the option to set the priority lot at the flea market. Increased chance of fracture and damage when falling from a big height. Definitely needed. I think that there's still a lot of like very flashy plays that were kind of ridiculous that you could still pull off, especially around like shoreline area, like the resort and stuff, where you could basically pull them off and still be relatively unscathed. So I think that that's a good change. And then other minor quality of life changes. We all, and personally, I want to say sorry for the delay. Amount of changes is huge, and right now we're fighting with bugs. Every single time when we approve a patch release date, some critical bugs happen and we're forced to shift the date and fix it. Because we don't want you guys to experience what needs to be fixed and polished. Give us a little more time. I don't want to say that it will be super soonish. Soon to scare away luck. Thank you for your patience. BSG dev team. So we're definitely going to see a delay here. No idea. I'm not gonna sit and speculate. I think that is expected. I think, anytime you change or update an engine, that can lead to such a variety of bugs. That I'm sure it's ridiculous what they're dealing with right now to get it, because they know that it's a very important patch. It's been over 300 days since we've received new content. And so I think they recognize just how hungry we are for, for something that is really, really playable. You know what I mean? I don't think any of us want to receive something that is disappointing. So I understand they want it to be nice and polished, and I'm happy to wait personally. So is what it is. So that is the 0.12 preliminary patch notes. I appreciate you guys, sitting and listening to my thoughts on a lot of the different changes. I'm excited, and hopefully we'll have it soon. Thanks for watching, guys.